Hi, welcome to Chat Communications Happenings and Trends. If you're new to our channel, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer or listener, I am happy to have you back. I am so glad you've come back for more torture. That being the case, I just wanted to thank our Patreon members for supporting this channel. And if you aren't currently a Patreon member, please consider becoming one. And if you like what we have to say, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you hit that bell because you won't receive any notifications about us uploading new segments for you if you don't actually get the alerts. So please consider hitting that bell and liking this video if you like it. That being said, I'm going to jump into kind of a depressing reality of where we are currently in the United States regarding the opioid crisis. So in 2016, the U.S. life expectancy dropped for the second year in a row, and this has been attributed to the opioid epidemic from opioid overdoses. The last time that this happened was in the 1960s during the influenza outbreak, which is crazy because a lot of people actually don't know that U.S. life expectancy is actually going down. So as we've got our lawmakers, which this is a complete aside, and I'm going to get back to the heart of the story, but our U.S. lawmakers are currently, as they kind of restrict or increase the age to receive Social Security benefits and Medicaid benefits or Medicare, we're dying younger and younger. So that's an interesting fact that I just wanted to throw out there for you guys. And that actually has amounted to, in 2016 alone, the opioid epidemic has claimed 60,000 people's lives in the United States. In Tennessee, which is my home state, that amounted to about 1,186 deaths per year in 2016, which is approximately 3 per day. That's a lot of dead people from a crisis like this that just keeps being ignored. It's a lot of people. And so there's obviously a sense of urgency to help address this situation. And this sense of urgency has to do better than the war on drugs did, which criminalized drug users and threw them in prison, which did not rehabilitate drug users. It did not offer treatment to drug users. It criminalized it to where they continued to use drugs in the prison population. So it didn't really address the situation. It just kind of tucked them away under the rug, people that used, right? And I guess so that civilized folks, people that didn't get caught for their drug use or didn't get criminalized for their drug use were deemed appropriate for society or something. I'm not sure. I think this is so backwards, the way that we treat people that have clear addiction issues in the United States. That being said, again, I don't feel like lawmakers are really serious about tackling this issue because the current plan that's been proposed, that's on the table by the Trump administration, has been to criminalize more. So I guess this strategy is to stop prescribing the drug and throw them in jail or give people the death penalty, the drug dealers. Well, the biggest drug dealers of this epidemic are pharmaceutical executives. So are they going to be the one that you're saying that you're going to propose the death penalty upon? Not hardly. They have too much money for that. Let's just be real. Okay? You're not going to penalize the people that actually caused the problem. You're going to penalize the downward chain, kind of scapegoat, which may hide it from people that aren't paying attention, may hide the epidemic, but right now, something has to give. The war on drugs was a failed policy. What it did, it was criminalize people and it targeted racial minorities in the United States. That is a failed policy. When you've got, it's a failed policy. It did not help solve the problem, it helped hide the problem. And it targeted people based off of race, which this Trump plan could potentially do. Considering how the administration seems to feel towards minorities, I really wouldn't be surprised to see an uptick in minorities being penalized for their drug use, even though they use at the same rates as whites. Anyways, having said all of that, I feel like there is at least one person that is trying to address the root of the problem. And that one person is Bernie Sanders. On April 19th, he basically proposed a bill because this is an epidemic. It does need to be addressed. It needs to be addressed yesterday. That would penalize drug executives for their role that they've played in knowingly hurting the American populace, because they knew that they were pushing opioids in areas of the country where they had more drugs coming in than people living there. They knew that. That has been well documented that they knew that. But one thing that I found kind of surprising about this is that while Bernie Sanders says, yeah, the root of the problem isn't the users, it's the executives here who knowingly knew that this stuff was addictive but continues to push for these drugs to be part of our healthcare system in the manner that it is, which pretty much, if you got a boo-boo, get an opioid for it. Anyways, one of the, I guess, opponents of his plan, or some people that have criticized his plan, have basically said, well, we criticize it because it gets to the root of the problem. Is that a criticism? Like, seriously? Don't you want to address the root of the problem? Or you just seem like you don't really give a shit about what's going on? That seems too partisan to me. Because I always hear from everybody like, oh, we want to go to the root of the problem. We want to solve the root of sexism, the root of the problem to sexism, the root of the problem to racism, but not in the drug crisis. No, if you get at that, then you're not doing a good job. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Anyways, so the criticism is like, yeah, it gets to the root of the problem, but we need to actually treat people for illicit substances or illegal drugs. Well, opioids, many of which were prescribed, are legal drugs, currently legal. So what then? Do people not get treated for being addicted to legal drugs? This is just bullshit. I'm sorry, it just is. It just is. And I know that, like, my outrage seems to be a little delayed considering that, this happened a few weeks ago, and I get that. And I just, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because you have somebody that's actually trying to get to the root of cause, and then he gets, criticized for trying to get at the root of the problem. But I do want to mention that, yes, I do think that we need to offer treatment, real treatment for people that are currently addicted. They do not need to go through the penal system whatsoever. You get in there, you don't come out. That has been shown time and again. We have a very punitive penal system that is really not interested in rehabilitation whatsoever. So if any drug user hits that system, they are not as likely to be rehabilitated for their drug condition. They actually may end up being addicted to another substance by the time they come out of prison, if they ever do get out of prison. So yes, we do need to address this problem of treatment, and part of that has to do with the American healthcare system. So our healthcare system does not offer, a lot of policies, plans do not offer substance abuse related treatment or at least seeking help for that. So a lot of people have to pay out of pocket. Well, if you pay out of pocket for that purpose, many people in the United States can't afford to get treatment, and so they won't get treatment. So we do need to address the healthcare problem. We also need to address the fact that if you're on Medicare or Medicaid and you are addicted to a substance, you also aren't able to get treatment in the United States, because as it currently stands, if you are on a government program like Medicare or Medicaid, if you are addicted to a drug or alcohol, you are going to get your Medicare or Medicaid taken away from you. So we still have a very, very, very bad system that is not equipped right now to handle or to treat people with substance abuse disorders and addiction. We have the power to change that. We could change it today. It's just our lawmakers choose not to. And that is how you know the priorities of our lawmakers, because they do have the money to spend on all of these endless wars, on escalating more conflicts and interventions, increasing the military budget. Yet 60,000 people died last year due to an opioid epidemic that all of our lawmakers know about, and yet they did nothing. So you know their priorities. We know the solution. The solution is to offer comprehensive health care for everybody, regardless of addiction status. Because how are they going to get treatment if they can't get treatment because they can't afford it? They're not going to. Not to mention we've again further criminalized this epidemic. In some states it's illegal, or you can be penalized criminally, go face jail time for being around someone who overdoses and calling to seek help. So if you're around them and you call a medical authority of some sort to help revive the person, you are subject to criminal prosecution in the United States. And you essentially save somebody's life. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. But again, I don't think our lawmakers are truly interested in solving this problem. They're okay with the general population life expectancy decreasing for the second year in a row. They're okay with that. So I seriously think that this whole idea of blue no matter who isn't working. Because yes, we have blue states in the union that aren't doing anything about this epidemic. We have obviously red states like Tennessee that, and to their credit, lawmakers are trying. They have offered things. I don't think it goes far enough. I don't think it gets again at the root of the problem. I think it does have the potential to criminalize people that are addicted instead of really, really giving them the treatment that they so desperately need. But that's where we are in the United States. So you know the priorities of your lawmakers. And so I think something has got to give. And I don't know what that's going to look like in this country. I don't know if it's going to be because we're going to hit further down into maybe the recession we are currently still in, or if it's going to have to be a new recession that hits us and really hits us hard, hits everybody, even the ones that are doing well, for people to realize that what is going on now just is not working. People are dying. And I think I said this in a video yesterday, or in a segment yesterday, that we don't have time to play games with this. This is a healthcare crisis in the United States. 60,000 people are dead that cannot come back. They are gone. The majority of which were probably preventable had they been able to get health care and had they been able to get treatment for this condition. And maybe it would have been treatable had, Big Pharma not have such a big influence over our politicians and our policies here in the United States, because they rule everything. And that's why people's hands feel like they're so tied. But I feel like we have to do something to get our power back, because they have stolen it from us. They're stealing our lives, they're stealing our water, they're stealing everything from us. And people are frustrated and they're tired. We've got to get our power back from them. They did not earn this. They don't earn my life. They don't earn my friend's life or anybody I know. They didn't earn your life either. So we need to hold them accountable. So if you liked that video, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing to our channel. Also, we do have a Patreon page, so please consider becoming a Patreon member, and try to reach out to us on Twitter at ActifyChat. That's Actify with a Y, and comment below. I do read your comments. I did read the comments from yesterday's videos, and I just haven't gotten the chance to respond to them, but I will respond to them, I promise. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.